foreign investors, some with questionable ties, buying Trump's meme coins to gain access to the president, potentially influencing U.S. policy while top officials refuse to answer questions. How much of our government's decision-making is at risk when money and foreign interests can buy access?
I want to know if, when the president held his dinner for 220 individuals who purchased the most of his meme coins, were there foreign interests attending that dinner?
Senator, we're here to talk about the Department of Justice and my budget for the upcoming year. I would think that you would want to talk about the leader of the Sinaloa cartel, who was living in Oregon, one of the top leaders. I would think that that's what you would want to talk about with me. When we captured him, he had $3 million cash in his home.
Attorney General, I know that you avoided the same question on the House side, but what we know is that many folks who attended this dinner were buying those coins because they wanted to influence U.S. policy. We had Mr. Javier Selgas, the head of Freight Technology, Inc., who said, I bought $2 million of these coins. I plan to buy $20 million because I want a favor from the president to change the policy regarding freight from Mexico to the United States. This solicitation of investments in his personal product, his meme coin, led to many people who were coming from foreign countries attending that dinner. Don't you think the American people have a right to know? And you said yourself, you're very concerned about foreign influence on our government.
Senator, it is wildly offensive that you would accuse President Trump of not protecting American interest in our country when he is the president that has shut down our borders, unlike Joe Biden. President Trump has done everything to make America safe, and you asked me the question, and keep America safe.
Do you
and
know?
You're trying to play a gotcha question at a budget hearing when you have murders left and right in your state, violent crimes, and we are doing everything we can to help your liberal state. Whether you're liberal or not, we're going to do everything we can to help the citizens of your state, and you're trying to avoid that because you're trying to play a gotcha question with the President of the United States, and it's not going to work. We're here to talk about our budget for public safety.
I do believe that as the leader of the Department of Justice, you should be concerned about foreign influence. There was obviously a lot of foreign influence and individuals who said they were there for that reason. And so will you appoint a special investigator to make sure that that foreign influence does not affect the policies of the United States of America?
I'm not going to tell you what I will or will not do, other than I will do everything to keep the people of your state safe, even though you don't want to talk about anything to do with your state because of the crime in your state. You also voted no on the Lake and Riley Act. We are doing everything we can to protect the citizens of this country. You also said that President Trump encouraged protests. It was the opposite. He's done everything he can to keep us safe, and he will continue to, as well as the Department of Justice. It speaks
volumes that you won't answer the question about transparency when the president is asking people to invest in his company and his products, and that foreigners are attending these events. I think transparency would be appropriate. Are you going to recommend any ethics guidelines to make sure that foreign influence does not find its way in through the doors of the White House?
How do you characterize foreigners, the illegal aliens that have flowed into our country? Is that who you're talking about? You don't want to talk about them. You don't want to talk about the crime that has gone rampant throughout this country and your state.
Well, you know, these hearings are a chance for us to ask questions, and I assure you I'm engaged in national security in many, many ways. But this also I am concerned about. And let me turn to a different piece of the puzzle, because the president also has another cryptocurrency called USD1. It is a stable coin. There was a request by UAE to produce AI chips that would go to UAE. The national security advisor of UAE is also the CEO of MGX. So after that request for those chips occurred, MGX then said, we will buy $2 billion with a B, of the president's coins, and then the president went to the Middle East and said, we will get you those AI chips. Does this sequence of events in which a foreign government asked for a big favor, and we had previously banned these chips to UAE because of the national security concerns, then they buy $2 billion of the president's coins, and then the president goes to the Middle East and says, we will provide those chips? Does that sequence of events concern you about foreign influence on the United States of America?
The foreign influence on America that I would be concerned about if I were you was the Mexican national that resided in Oregon, who we just arrested, who had 384 pounds of methamphetamine. The foreign individual who I would be concerned about if I were a senator from Oregon is the Honduran drug trafficker who was residing in Portland for distributing fentanyl. The foreign national I would be concerned about if I was a Portland senator, an Oregon senator, is a Mexican national leader of a drug trafficking ring. Another one, fentanyl, firearms, fatal overdoses, all in your state.
You have made your point.
57,700 fentanyl pills and stolen firearms in Oregon. That's what we should work together on, not gotcha questions during a budget
hearing.
Let
me recognize Senator Merkley.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. The Attorney General certainly has made the point that she's very concerned about issues that I'm concerned about as well regarding the security of this country. But let the record note that in terms of foreign influence and the sale of foreign influence through the president's coins, she absolutely refuses to respond and instead turns to a whole list of different topics. I think it's important for the leader of the Justice Department of the United States to be very concerned about foreign influence, and I encourage you to take on that topic and not consider it an offense that those of us who are concerned here, Democrats and Republicans, want Americans to make American decisions, not foreign influence being bought through crypto coins.
Senator Murkowski.
Chairman.
The exchange between Senator Merkley and the Attorney General is more than a typical budget hearing. It shines a light on a critical national security concern that most Americans may not fully grasp: the intersection of politics, personal financial ventures, and foreign influence. When the president hosted a dinner for 220 individuals who purchased his meme coins, it wasn't just a social gathering or a financial transaction. Some attendees openly admitted they were buying these coins in hopes of influencing U.S. policy. That is not a trivial matter. It's the very definition of a conflict of interest and a potential national security threat. The Attorney General's refusal to answer questions about foreign participation in this event is alarming. While it's easy to be distracted by conventional concerns like violent crime or border enforcement, the more insidious threat here is subtle: foreign actors using wealth and influence to sway policy decisions in the highest offices of government. This isn't a hypothetical scenario. These transactions happened in real time, and the consequences could shape decisions that affect millions of Americans. Cryptocurrency makes these risks even more complex. Unlike traditional financial transactions, crypto can be opaque, decentralized, and globally traceable only with difficulty. That makes it easier for foreign investors to participate anonymously or semi-anonymously in events that could impact U.S. governance. Without transparency and oversight, these investments can bypass traditional safeguards, giving powerful individuals or nations leverage over American policy decisions. This hearing underscores the urgent need for ethics and oversight in government, particularly when private financial interests intersect with public policy. It's not enough for officials to claim they are protecting citizens in one area while ignoring the potential for foreign interference in another. National security isn't just about law enforcement or borders. It's also about protecting the integrity of our democratic processes and ensuring that decisions affecting the nation aren't influenced by money, whether domestic or foreign. The implications here are profound. If foreign entities can influence U.S. policy through financial means, it undermines public trust, erodes the integrity of institutions, and threatens the very foundation of representative democracy. Americans deserve transparency, accountability, and assurance that the policies guiding their lives are made in their interest, not sold to the highest bidder from abroad. This isn't just political theater. It's a lesson in how financial innovation, like cryptocurrency, can intersect with governance in ways we don't yet fully understand. It's a wake-up call that highlights the importance of vigilance, oversight, and an engaged citizenry in safeguarding the principles that define American democracy. The takeaway for viewers is clear: stay informed, demand accountability, and recognize that threats to our system aren't always obvious. Sometimes they come disguised as financial innovation or social events with powerful attendees. Protecting democracy requires attention, scrutiny, and public engagement. Share this video, comment your thoughts, and engage with your representatives about transparency and foreign influence in government. Ask the hard questions. Make sure your voice is heard, because staying informed is the first step in protecting the integrity of our nation.